Hey everybody, and welcome to my Growth Summit session. In this session, I'm going to talk about how to create the holistic marketing automation strategies for your startup. So if you run a SaaS company or a mobile app or another type of product company, this is something that you may want to listen to. In this video, you will learn how to get from zero to running a live marketing automation system that helps you convert your leads into customers and your customers into forever customers. And I've also included some interesting templates and frameworks that will be shared with this session. So you're also going to get access to this. So a little bit about me. My name is Kalo, and I'm the co-founder of InCharge.io. InCharge is a marketing automation tool that helps SaaS and mobile app companies increase their revenue and drive more conversions through targeted messages, mostly email. So before we start with this system and this strategy session, what exactly is marketing automation? And I'm sure you know marketing automation is everywhere. It's so ubiquitous today that it's almost impossible not to do marketing automation if you run a SaaS or product company. And that term has been thrown around a lot, and it means very different things. And I'm sure a lot of you are doing marketing automation without even naming it that way. So just for the purpose of this conversation in this session, I'm going to use the 5 W's to define what exactly marketing automation is. Marketing automation helps you deliver personalized messages cross-channel. So that means email, SMS, push, social media, direct mail, to a broader audience at the right time, and most importantly, using software. So in other words, in an automated way. And why? Well, because it helps you attract and convert and retain more customers with fewer resources in less time and more efficiently. And there are a lot of benefits to marketing automation, and I really don't want to boggle your mind now with numbers. But really, it has been proven that these automated messages has a strong impact on your overall bottom line. And in a research, 70% of people found improved targeting messages to be the most important benefit of marketing automation. And these improved messages, these improved automated messages, they usually lead to more time, so you're able to save time in your business, better and more effective lead generation, and most importantly, positive effect on your bottom line. In other words, they help you increase your revenue and make more money for your product. And when we talk about marketing automation, and because we use and we talk with a lot of SaaS and product companies about marketing automation, and they come to us, and we usually have this free, we have these free sessions, as well as I also do sessions on GrowthMentor. And usually the first thing that they get to ask us is, what tool should we use to do our marketing automation? And this is really in my opinion, the number one mistake SaaS and mobile app companies and product companies generally do. They start to think in tools rather than frameworks and processes. And what happens is that they don't have the overarching idea of what they actually want to achieve and how they're going to achieve this through marketing automation. And in this presentation, what my goal is to share with you my 6-step process to create a really comprehensive, really holistic marketing automation strategy. And we're going to cover the frameworks, my processes, my documents, as well as some more technical things like how to create a flow and how to actually implement this thing into practice. And this step process, I'm going to share this step by step. And this includes 6 steps. So the first one is to define and choose a lifecycle funnel for your business. Second step is to define and choose the metrics that you want to track at each step of this funnel. Third step is to map your lifecycle customer journey. The fourth step is to outline the specific events and create an event tracking plan. And we're going to cover what exactly events are and what the event tracking plan is. Fifth step is to write the copy for your messages. So that's for your email. So if you want to use push notifications or SMS, whatever messages or channels you want to use. And the last step is to actually bring this into life with up and running marketing automation flows. So let's jump straight into, actually before we jump in, this presentation will come with a few documents. So you'll get the marketing automation strategy blueprint. This is a template that you can use to plan your marketing automation strategy. You're also going to get an event tracking plan that you can use in Google Spreadsheet and use that to track outlined events and then work with your development team on implementing these events. You're also going to need Google Docs or Word document or another word processor to actually write the email copy. And last but not least, very important thing, is to actually have a marketing automation system in place. And here I would recommend using something that is really catered towards SaaS or product companies. So you might want to check some companies like InCharge, our company, Customer.io, GetViro, maybe Autopilot, maybe Drip. But what you need here is really a marketing automation system that is advanced enough to support events and also mostly events, but also other integrations with the tools that you need. So this is how the marketing automation strategy blueprint looks. So this is how it looks where it's completed. So by the end of this session, by the end of this exercise, you should have this plan. You should have this blueprint completed, and obviously not with the exact same values as this one here. So it needs to be relevant to your business and your funnel. And we're going to discuss this through that session. So that's how it looks when it's completed. And let's actually start with the first step, which is to define and decide on your lifecycle funnel. And here, by the way, I couldn't find an icon, an emoji of a funnel, so I'm using this tornado emoji. So don't blame me for that. So what exactly is the lifecycle funnel? So the lifecycle funnel is the process a person takes towards becoming a customer for your product. It's essentially the framework that helps you understand how your business is performing in different stages of your customer journey. So that's from the very first moment, from the very first customer touch point with your product until the moment they become a customer and eventually an advocate. And there are really dozens of lifecycle funnels that you can research. And really the goal here is not to teach you to choose a specific one, but to define and decide on which funnel you'd like to choose and make sure that your whole team understands your funnel and understands how your funnel works within your company, within your product, and with your customers. So where we're going to choose some of the ones that are quite popular, like the acquisition, activation, retention, referral revenue by Dave McClure. You can Google him, or something more simple like the AIDA framework, funnel awareness, interest, desire, action, or maybe something more complex. It really doesn't matter, and you can also come up with your own funnel. And this is what we actually do with most of our customers. So, for example, our friends at the SaaS named Metrilo.com, they have their own funnel, which is awareness, first stage, education of problem, second stage, education of solution, and consideration. So they have 4 stages. and they are really specific and relevant to their business model. So again, make sure to choose a funnel that really works with your business, and make sure to put that funnel into the marketing automation strategy blueprint. So this will be across the first row, the customer funnel. You would like to put the different stages of your funnel. There might be 4, there might be 3, there might be 6. It really depends on your business model. The next step here is to define the metrics that you want to track at each stage of the funnel. So there's no way to know how good your marketing automation strategy or efforts are without tracking any metrics. And each funnel stage deserves its own set of metrics or a single metric. And just to get your brain juice flowing, I'm going to give you an ideas of metrics that you could track at different stages. So let's say we go with the IDA framework: awareness, interest, desire, action. You may want, at the first stage, the awareness, you may want to track the number of visitors, so unique website visitors, or email subscribers. How many people subscribe to your newsletter via lead magnets or other educational material and resources. You might want to track visitor to subscriber conversion rate, or best referring channels, tracking your traffic through UTMs and analyze which ones bring the most and highest quality traffic. At the second stage, interest, you may want to track the average email open rate, like leads generated, demo calls booked, demo to close conversion rate, lead velocity rate, the growth percent, which is basically the growth percentage of qualified leads month over month, number of trials, really important if you have a free trial model, visitor to trial conversion rate, and so on. At the desire stage, you may want to track your new user product engagement, the net promoter score, or something like support questions asked in the onboarding trial phase. At the action stage, you may want to track the new number of customers, trial to customer conversion rate, new monthly recurring revenue added this month, gross revenue added, customer acquisition costs, and so on. And obviously, a really important one, churn rate. There are also other metrics that you want to track across the whole marketing funnel, and these are things like the customer lifetime value, average or average revenue per user, average revenue per paying user, daily, weekly, or monthly user retention, customer acquisition payback period, and so on. Apart from tracking these metrics, it's really also important to know which department and who is owning the specific metrics. So who owns, for example, visitors, or the increase of new website visitors, or the increase of traffic in the awareness stage. So once you have that cleared and completed in your blueprint document, the next step is to really get into the shoes of your customers and map the lifecycle customer journey. So the customer journey basically shows what are the specific actions and set of activities, or you might call them scenarios, a person needs to complete in order to become a customer of your product. And the goal here is to map all of these activities, and you can use a separate file or a whiteboard or whatever, and all of these touch points. So for example, let's say we take InCharge as an example. Our customer journey would look something like: the user visits the marketing front-end website. The user books a demo call with us. The user gets on a call with us. The user registers for a trial. The user opens an onboarding email. The user activates a feature, let's say, for example, sends the first email. The user upgrades the trial account to paid plan. So these are all the steps, and you may have different personas. You may have different stakeholders that use your product in different way. And your goal here is really to map out the whole customer journey, and these scenarios at the different channels, at the different stages of your funnel. And you can see here in the example of blueprint, which you're going to get in the example of in the provided folder. You can see here the customer journey steps that I've put together as example under each funnel stage. The next step, and really important step, is to outline and decide on the important events and to create an event tracking plan. So not all user actions in the customer journey or word tracking, they're not all important. And our goal here is to list only the events that are related to value moments in your customer journey and in your funnel. So for example, if we take InCharge again, a really important event, a really important action is that the user sends their first email. So that's pretty much the only way they could get value out of the system. On the other hand, we don't necessarily need to set up an event for email DNS settings. So we don't want to track how many people have activated their DNS settings, because it's not really a value moment. It's the value moments here are really these moments, these actions that help the user get from one stage of your marketing funnel to the next stage. And they don't really need to complete every single action in that stage of the funnel. They're only really the specific events or actions that will push the user to progress from one stage of the funnel to the next one. And what you need to do here with the event tracking document, which you're also going to get access with this presentation. And by the way, this event tracking is based on a template by segment.com. So really grateful to Segment for providing this template. And here in the first column, you need to put the important events. So these are the value moments that the customers need to do in your app. And here, this is an example. This is a real life example from one of our customers, Verimark.com, which is an HR reference SaaS platform. We decided that the important actions, the core events, are signed up, logged in, send request. So this is the request that the employer sends to the employee. Request criteria met when all of the referral checks are completed. And then there are some additional events that are also important to check, but are not the most important, not really the crucial ones. So these are like events like save the draft request, created criteria, created a questionnaire, invited team member, and so on. And it's really helpful to actually define why it's important to track that event, why your developers need to track that event. The next thing here is the property. So each event has a number of properties. For example, the requests, as every single request has a request ID, number of checks included in that request, if it has a reference check, so whether that's if it has a reference check, so that is yes or no, also known as a Boolean reference check, Boolean field, employment check, national ID check, criminal record check, and so on. And these are the property values, so whether that's a text, a number, or something else. And if we scroll to the right here, we can actually see the process of implementation for these events. So these are actually, once you have the events here in this document, as a marketer, you need to outline these events. And once you have them ready, you want to send that document to your developer, so your developers can integrate these events with your marketing automation tool of choice. So example, InCharge.io. So you can send the events from your app, in this case, Verimark, with the properties and the values to InCharge. And here we have the status of the event, whether the event is being coded, deployed, and tested. And once your developers are ready with each of these steps, they're just going to put a yes value in each one of these, And this is when you're ready to create marketing automation in your app. And this is where you can actually start building and thinking about, the copy, the flows. So these are the real elements that put your marketing automation system to life. And really my process here is I like to start with the Google document. And if I go to, let me see if I have the Google document here open. And before I jump into the marketing automation tool, I like to map out what are the exact flows. So what are the different flows I want to create for each stage of the marketing automation funnel. And going back to the blueprint, this is the last row here with the flows for each funnel stage. And the flows are basically the marketing automation path that the customer actually goes through once they interact with your app. So these are the building blocks of your marketing automation strategy. And let's say, for example, in the awareness stage, we might want to have a flow when a lead subscribes to a newsletter. So when a lead subscribes to a newsletter, we may want to send that lead emails, or we may want to start, we may want to change the lead scoring of this lead. In the acquisition stage of the funnel, we may want to have a flow for user started trial. So this could be like a series of welcome emails or event-based emails that nudge the user to convert to a paying customer, and so on. So these are the actual building blocks, the actual marketing automation flows. And now going back to the document here, you can see this is again a real example from Verimark. This is the onboarding stage of their funnel. And we have decided that we're going to create 4 different flows. And for each of these flows, I've actually put the copy for each message, email, SMS, push notification, etc. And the event that is going to trigger that message, when we want to send that message, and what is the actual purpose of that message. So for example, with the event-based flow, we have a welcome email. And what's the purpose of the welcome email? To explain what your tool does, what problem it solves, what are the results that your tool can guarantee, and also low friction call to action in the case of Verimark to create the first request. So get the people back to the app and get them to create the first request. And this is something you want to do with each flow in each email in the flows. And I'm not going to go now through example flows and email copy, because this could easily take another session. But I'm just going to, in my presentation, share these links with you. All right, so, okay, maybe I forgot to include the links. But anyways, you can go to InCharge.io/blog, and you can see a number of posts that we have published that will give you a lot to start with. So for example, our latest post is 38 automated emails. Or you can also check this one if you're working on your onboarding stage. So if you want to create an effective welcome email sequence, or you can also check 13 email sequence templates to convert more leads. So there is really a lot of examples here from real brands, as well from InCharge. And another important bit is when you actually sign up for InCharge, you'll be able to start with a pre-filled, pre-populated flow that comes in with the email copies and best practice email copy. So going back to our marketing automation strategy, the last step that we actually have is to build these marketing automation workflows. So in this case, you would need to start using your marketing automation system. And for example, if I go to InCharge, I can show you here the flows that we have created for Verimark. So with Verimark, for the onboarding stage of the funnel, we have created 4 flows. We have, or I should say, grouped flows into 4 flows. So let me just log in into their account. Go to the flows. And we have 4 different types of flows here. Post-trial flow, event-based flow, trial expiry warning flow, and time-based flow. So let's go to the event-based flow, because this one is probably the most interesting for SaaS companies. And this is how flows look in InCharge. And you can see here a very simple flow. So when a user signs up for Verimark, they will receive a welcome email. And the way we get these events is, if you remember in the previous step, we created the event tracking plan, and your developers have already integrated with InCharge. So we know the name of the events, and all you need to do as a marketer is really copy paste the name of the event into the marketing automation flow builder, where you can create these automated flows. And in this case, the event is called signed up. And when someone signs up for your marketing for your SaaS mobile app or product, you're going to trigger an email, a welcome email. And now things are getting more interesting here, as you can do a lot of different things once you have access to these value-based events in your marketing automation tool. And in InCharge, you can do a number of different things. For example, let's say we want to send a re-engagement email. We want to have a flow that sends a re-engagement email when someone opens a specific page but doesn't complete the action on that page. So for example, with Verimark, when someone visits the request page, we wait for 1 hour, and then we are going to check if they have sent an event. And if they haven't sent an event, so if they don't have the specific, they haven't completed the specific action, and we know that because we have tagged all people who have completed that action with the tag send request. So if they don't have the tag send request, we're going to send them a nudge email, which asks them to go back to the request page and complete that action. And also, it's really good when you write these emails to always stress the benefit of the specific feature. So rather than just pushing people to go back to the app, try to handle any objections and state what is the exact benefit of that event. So this is a way you can create flows in InCharge, and things can get more advanced and more sophisticated as more flows you create, or depending on your process and marketing automation funnel. So for example, you might have a low touch sales model, a self-serve model, or a high touch sales model, or a hybrid. And let's say you have a hybrid model. In that case, you may want to involve your sales rep. So rather than just sending automated welcome emails, you may actually want to create a new deal in HubSpot. So you may want to use the action create HubSpot deal. So every time someone signs up for your tool, you're creating a deal in your HubSpot account where your sales rep can see all of the data, all of the events that are sent from your app to InCharge and then to HubSpot, and based on that, reach out manually to get, for example, on a call with that person. So this is how the marketing automation, 6-step marketing automation system looks like. And just to wrap up quickly, the steps for this system. First, you have to decide on a lifecycle funnel. You need to define the metrics you want to track at each stage of the funnel, and also define who owns each metric. Then you want to get into the shoes of your customers, map the lifecycle customer journey. So all and every steps and actions that your customers take in your app. Next, you need to really map out only the events that create value, so the value moments in your app, and build your event tracking plan. And also send that event tracking plan to your developers so they can integrate it with your marketing automation tool of choice. For example, InCharge. Make sure that you use a marketing automation tool that actually supports events, because events are critical for SaaS and mobile app and product companies. Then the fifth step is to have a document with outlining the flows that you want to create for each stage of the funnel and the messaging copy. Go to incharge.io/blog to see hundreds of examples of email and other messaging examples and flow examples that you can start with. Then sixth step, last step, and probably the most important step that really brings that whole strategy to life is to put these flows in the marketing automation tool of your choice. And obviously, don't forget to use the blueprint, because this will give you a really, really straightforward, really simple, top-level overview of your marketing automation strategy plan. So that's from me. I hope you enjoyed this session. And if you have any questions or feedback, please do get in touch with me at kayla@incharge.io or book a free consultation session. My consultation sessions are free at the moment on GrowthMentor. So go to app.growthmentor.com/my name. I know it's a weird name, but you can just look it here, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. And looking forward to connecting with you. And it was a blast having the opportunity to talk to you guys. So take care and speak to you soon.